Hello everyone, welcome you all to English Orchard. Today we are going to deal with the English lessons from class 12, the last poem on Jennifer's Stiger. On Jennifer's Stiger was written by Adrienne Rich, who was an American poet, an essayist and a feminist. She lived from 1929 to 2012. Adrienne Rich was considered to be one of the influential poets of the second half of the 20th century, and also we see that she was credited with bringing the oppression of women and lesbians to the forefront of poetic discourse. And also she is considered to be an social activist who fought her voice against the suppression of women in the society. She also tried her level best to bring out the rights for every human being. Now, coming closer to On Jennifer's Stiger, the theme highlights marriage, gender, and male chauvinism. Throughout this poem, we see that she is drawing the picture of a woman who is trying to escape in the world of embroidery from her suppressed life. And she was writing this poetry at the time when divorces are disapproved and women need to survive under the control of her husband. And this created a great source of disturbance in the mind of many married ladies. And here we see that in this poem, she was bringing out the inner feeling of a married woman who was tortured by her husband. Where she need to get love, she has been following a routine where she is feeling a great stress in her life. And coming to poem On Jennifer's Stiger, we see that she was just drawing the picture of a lady who wants to highlight what she wanted in her life. And she is finding happiness in the talent that she acquired in her life. So, On Jennifer's Stiger just gives out the inner strength, inner spirit that a lady wants to have in her life. But once when she gets married, she needs to live with the happiness of her husband. Coming to the poem On Jennifer's Stiger. I'll read the first stanza for you. On Jennifer's Stiger prance across the screen, bright harpers denizen of a world of green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree, they pace in sleek chivalric certainty. So coming closer to the stanza 1, On Jennifer's Stiger, we see that the lady said in this poem is on Jennifer. Maybe this is the aunt of the poetess, or she is just assuming a lady with the name Aunt Jennifer. Now, this Aunt Jennifer is highly talented. And the first stanza just talks about the inner wish of Aunt Jennifer. What she wanted to be in her life is portrayed or highlighted in stanza 1. At the beginning of the stanza, we see that Aunt Jennifer's Stiger prance across the screen, bright harpers denizen of a world of green. The quality of the talent given by Aunt Jennifer is highlighted. Certainly, we see that she was just talking about the picture that Aunt Jennifer is stitching in a panel of cloth. And now, coming closer to the picture that has drawn in a panel of cloth, we see that it just prance across the screen. Prance means what? Moves to and fro across the screen. It seems to be like alive. So it was so fabulous enough to see the picture of a tiger. It seems to be alive and does not fear any men. Or it does not fear any hunter who just roams around in the forest. And now highlighting the color of the tiger, it seems to be like bright topaz denizen of a world of green. See the contrast which was given here. A world of green is a sign of prosperity, or we see that it's just talking about forest. And what is topaz? Topaz is a yellow gem. So she says that the tiger that she stitched in the panel of cloth is yellow in color. It's shining in a world of green. The world of green means in a forest. It's bright enough. And says that another quality says that they do not fear the men beneath the tree. Whoever comes there, whoever goes there, whether it be a hunter, whoever may be that, says that they do not fear any men. Why? Because it is so courageous, it has confidence in itself, and it's moving. How it moves? They pace means they move or in sleek chivalric certainty. As if it's very courteous enough, as if it's confident of itself, and in a shining manner it just moves around. So that's what the inner wish of Aunt Jennifer. She also wanted to be like the tiger mentioned in stanza 1. And she also wanted to be alive. She also wanted to have a cherishing life, unafraid of anyone. She also wanted to shine like a bright tiger who lives in a world of green. Just like the tiger who is so courageous, unafraid, elegant, with great determination and confidence, she also wanted to be like whom? Like the tiger. So that is what which shows in stanza 1. What is that? Aunt Jennifer's tiger prance across the screen, right topaz denizen. Denizen means what? Inhabitant of a green or world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. So this is what she just talks about in stanza 1. Then coming to stanza 2, what we see here is Aunt Jennifer's fingers glittering through her wool finds even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Now the second stanza just talks about her real world. In the first stanza, we have seen that the inner wish of Aunt Jennifer, what she wanted to be in her life, is highly said in stanza 1. But in reality, how she leads her life. Already we have seen that she is a very talented lady who can draw or who can stitch a very beautiful pictures in panel of clothes. So as now in her real world, even though she is just making such a fabulous work in a panel of cloth, the work behind this, the hard work behind this is so pathetic. Why? Because it says that Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool even finds the ivory needle hard to pull. You know that how much weight a needle has. But what is the reason why she finds it hard to pull even this light-weighted ivory needle? The third line of second stanza says that the massive weight of Uncle's wedding band, the constrained wedding life that she is experiencing in her life, the symbol of that wedding lies in her finger. What is that? The ring. So it says that whenever she was just stitching this tiger or a picture in a panel of cloth, her fingers used to what? Flutter. Flutter means what? Shiver. Because as she is pulling out the needle, her sight will definitely fall on the ring which was put by her husband. And that reminds her of all the separation that she is experiencing in her husband's house. So that constrained life or unhappy married life just reminds her, and that makes her heart go so lean, and she finds it very hard to pull even the needle very hard. So that's why it says that in reality, on her real life, she is not experiencing any sort of confidence. She is not that courageous enough. She is controlled or she is suppressed or she is dominated by her husband. She just thinks about all the torture which was given by her husband. Or she is just confined to be the homemaker in her family life. And she can't even able to express herself. Maybe her husband is not appreciating her qualities. She is not having any freedom to live like the way that she wanted to be in her life. So this problem is highly just portrayed by Adrienne Rich in this poem on Jennifer Stiger. And she doesn't want any lady to confine her life under the control or the suppression of her husband. So this is just like she is just portraying or she is putting this in front of the society to know that there are a lot of women who is nervous enough and find it very hard to express themselves in the society. So here in her real world, Aunt Jennifer is disappointed. That may be one of the reasons why she finds it hard to stitch. And she is just reminded about her unhappy married life whenever she sees the wedding band or the wedding ring that her husband just adorned in her finger. Okay, so here we see that the wedding band, which need to be the liberty of a lady to express herself, here goes wrong, and here it now lies as a burden for Aunt Jennifer's life and also shows about her unhappy married life. So that's why here we see that in first stanza we see that, what is that? The first stanza, the color, the green color, the lively color, the light, yellow color light, isn't it? The promising light, yellow sunshine, isn't it? Just likewise the color of the tiger, which gives utmost happiness to the surroundings of a world of green. But what about the second stanza? In second stanza there is uncertainty. There is little dark. Hard work is there. Mental constraint is there. Isn't it? So unhappy life is expressed just opposite that of the first stanza. In first stanza, she wanted to be, or her inner wish is to be like a tiger who is unafraid of any man. But in second stanza, she is quite coward and totally dependent on her husband. And she is forced to live a life that her husband likes. And also, even in this creative work, which is a relaxation for her life, she finds it hard to enjoy the work behind this panel of cloth. And also we see that here Adrienne Rich was trying to focus upon the problems faced by the women of that time. The emotional and the mental torture faced by the women is highly highlighted in stanza 2. Okay, now coming to stanza 3. Now coming to stanza 3, we see that when Aunt Jennifer is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. So, already we have seen that stanza 1 talks about the mental wish or the inner wish of Aunt Jennifer. Stanza 2 just highlights the reality that she is experiencing in her life. And now coming to stanza 3, it just talks about the unfulfilled life or the future of Aunt Jennifer. And actually we have seen that her wish is to live an independent life. But she is totally dependent on her husband. So now it says that everything will get diminishes without being accomplished. And she finds it hard to fulfill her desire before her death. Then what happens? It says that her wish to live as a free, independent woman diminishes by when she dies. And she says that her ordeal will end upon her death. What is the meaning of ordeal? Ordeal is unpleasant experience. And what is the unpleasant experience that she had in her life? Definitely the unhappy married life. So what happened? When aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still ringed with ordeals. What is that? The hardship. Even after her death, you can see what? The ring on her finger. So that ring, which need to be, what is that? A courage from her husband, is only what she experienced is a torture. The independent life that she wanted to experience in her life is unfulfilled. And even after death, that shows that she had experienced what? Unhappy married life. And also, her hands just talks about the talent that she had. Two things. What is that? Her hands will tell about the talent that she acquired in her life. Along with that, the unpleasant experience that she had in her life. So these two things will be said aloud by the ring that she have in her hand. And along with that, even after her death, she is not free from her husband. Her frightened, shaking fingers will be put to rest. But still then, even after her death, her suffering still continues. Why? Because she still wears the wedding band of her husband. That shows that even after her death, she is not free from the husband's rule, or she is not free from her husband's domination. And this is what Adrienne Rich says, that this is a male dominating world. And there, the husband stands there as the full controller, where woman is suppressed. And even after her death, she is not set free. She dies as the wife of so-and-so husband. Isn't it? And also here it says that after her death, her desire of freedom and her fearlessness just remains alive only where? Only in the tigers which she has embroidered. And also we see that the tigers which she already created will go on prancing unafraid. And that is what her wish to be. And we see that the poetess was trying to say throughout her poem, telling that this is one way of escapism for weaker and suppressed women in the society. All women in the society finds one way or another to find happiness. But behind that happiness, there is a great deal of hardship. That sometimes they worry themselves. Sometimes they are afraid of to do such a very creative work. So this on Jennifer Stiger is a simple or a symbolism of constrained, unhappy married life of women in the society. So Adrienne Rich is raising a voice against this injustice attitude shown to the weaker women of the society. This should be wiped away. Everyone should be given a freedom to express themselves. Each and every woman should be accepted in the society. Okay? This is what she just highlights. Now, just come to the poetic devices. What is the rhyming scheme of this poem on Jennifer Stiger? In all the stanzas, we see that the rhyming scheme is AABB. What is that? Lie, buy, made, fade. Isn't it? Lie, buy, made, afraid. Isn't it? So AABB. So the next one is alliteration. What is alliteration? Already we have seen in other poems. Just alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds or speech sound. Here in the first stanza we have seen that chivalric certainty. Chivalric certainty. The sound z is repeated. Okay. Then so alliteration is also here. Now coming to imagery. Imagery, what is imagery? Imagery deals with, what is that? The senses, the five senses. Appreciating something with five senses. Here In the first stanza, we see what? Stanza 1. We see what? The visual or a world of green. What is that, a world of green? Definitely, it's forest. We can just visualize a world of green. Here, as the poet just talks about a world of green, we can visualize what? A forest. So that is what the poet or the poetess just talks about imagery. Then comes what? Metaphor. What is metaphor? Metaphor is, what is that? Topaz, bright topaz denizen. What is that? What is it? Bright topaz denizen. Topaz is what? A yellow gem, isn't it? So she was just calling the tigers what? Bright topaz. So attributing the full quality of the yellow gem towards the tiger. So topaz is a metaphor which is been given to what? On Jennifer's tiger. Okay. So that is the next poetic device. Then another one is personification. What is personification? Personification is attributing human quality. It's human quality for getting afraid, isn't it? So what if she is giving the quality of afraid to hands? That is a mental constraint experienced by a human. So here the particular hand is personified by telling the terrified hand. So that's why personification, the figure of speech personification is used. The terrified hands, what is that? The line goes like this. When the owned is dead, her terrified hands will lie. So that's why personification is used as a figure of speech in On Jennifer's tiger. I already said about metaphor. The next one is anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is starting a line with a same word in consecutive lines or the successive lines. Here we see that in stanza 1, the third and fourth line. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric movement. We see that in the first stanza, the last two lines start with the word they. See? Third line, fourth line. So, what is the figure of speech there? Figure of speech is anaphora. Because starting with same word in consecutive lines in stanza 1. The next one is hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Hyperbole is massive weight of a wedding band. What is that? Actually, the poetess is exaggerate the amount of fear or suppression that she experienced. Because we see that actually there is no much weight for a wedding band. But maybe because of the burden that her husband is just giving to her life, she is finding even the fingers very hard to pull even a needle. The weight of a finger. What is there in the weight? What is there in her finger? There is a wedding band. You know the weight of a ring. You know the weight of a ivory needle. But still then, the burden of her life is just put onto the wedding band. That torture, that, what is that, constrained wedding life of this Aunt Jennifer is expressed by telling that the massive weight or the heavy weight of uncle's wedding band. Because of the weight of the wedding band that is adorned in her finger, she finds it hard to pull the needle. So here, in order to note down the separation or the domination or the torture that she is experiencing from her husband, the poetess is using the word the massive weight of uncle's wedding band. So that's why it's said to be what? Hyperbole. So these are some of the poetic devices that we see in On Jennifer's tiger. Okay, I think you understood the poem very much. So keep going, and I wish for more videos, like, subscribe and watch English Orchard. Thank you all.